Brought to you by IWCRadio.com. It's the internet's most irreverent wrestling podcast. Now, please welcome Beans, Smoot, Chucks, and Will. This is the IWC.
Hello everyone and welcome to IWC Radio. This is episode 142 and we're coming to you live on YouTube.com. I'm your host Martin Nolan and I'm being joined by Smoot, Chucks and Will. How's it going, guys?
I'm alright.
Yeah,
Good.
How are you?
We have a very special show this week, but first we must... I can't even speak. What's wrong with me? We must wish Will a very happy birthday.
Hey!
Yay,
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We'd play the song, but we would probably get copyright claimed or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you do anything nice, Will?
I did. I just went out with family and going out with more family tomorrow, and yeah. Nothing big, nothing major, but you know.
You didn't
That's
do any birthday presents of booking a trip to the Alamo Dome for the Royal Rumble or possibly
No.
Florida for
Don't tell me you
WrestleMania?
forgot.
I forgot. Yeah.
You forgot the
Oh.
Rumble.
No, but
Not good enough.
I was hoping my colleague at the IWC Radio would have chipped in for the WrestleMania trip.
Well, I was hoping for the same, really. So,
Yeah, my birthday coming up. What the hell?
somehow I think that we're not going to WrestleMania.
No.
No.
Oh well.
Ah. Anyway, so apart from that, has
Next year.
everything been good this week? Apart from terrible football results.
Terrible football results.
What's that?
It wouldn't be this show if we didn't divert into a slight bit of football from the UK.
Yeah, a little bit, but let's not this week because I don't want to think about it anymore.
It was pretty grim. Smith would be glad to know that pretty much all of our teams had a bad day today, so we're all pretty grim on that.
Did my prediction live up? Like, did Liverpool win?
No,
Oh.
Wait, which prediction was that? Who were they playing?
United.
Last week, didn't he? He said he picked Liverpool to beat United.
To
Yeah.
be United, that's right.
Yeah.
It was a draw.
And that was
Nah, so nobody wins. Not even the fans.
Should have won.
not even-
Also, Smoot might be a little bit grim this week because I know that the Dallas Cowboys had a bit of a rough one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say because he's just gained a new president.
Oh, God, shut up.
Well, I
no.
didn't want to go into the world of politics on a show where, maybe if we shout about it too much, you might actually tweet us as well.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Who, Trump?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would be, actually. I don't care.
Be pretty sweet. I don't care which president tweets us. I'll take any of them.
I've got a president that follows me on Twitter.
TNA?
Um,
TNA President Dixie Carter? Former president, I should say?
No.
Oh.
I actually have Barack Obama following me on Twitter.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Not the. It's going to be like a parody account.
It's not. I'm trying
You're
to
not.
find.
No.
Yes.
No.
How can I make my screen available?
Get a screen
You-
cap of it. Get a screen cap
Yeah,
of
I
it,
could do
and
a
then
picture of it.
put
I'm
it
going
in
to look
Skype.
him up and see if he follows anyone that I know. Barry Obama.
Barry Obama.
I can't even take a picture of the screen because I'm laughing too much.
6 followers I know. So this is people who follow him. So if I follow him and then go on to yours. Followers I know. No, these are all just you guys. We were supposed to be doing a really fast
I
show
know.
this
It's
week.
just like some kind of ego thing, but
That's actually amazing. Okay, so apparently 18 people I know are following you, Beans. And I'm scrolling right down. No, no Obama, no Obama, no Obama. He is number 18 of 18 right at the bottom.
but he is following me.
But he is following you. I doubted you and I was wrong. His little profile thing says dad, husband, president, citizen. He needs to update that.
That's
No,
true.
because he's still a president. He
Isn't
still
he,
gets
yeah?
called president.
Isn't that one of the things where you always president?
Yeah, he's just not the
Another
commander-in-chief.
I don't know if you, I assume Smoot knows this, but I don't know if you guys have heard. Once you become a president, you're never allowed to drive again.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I've
Apparently
never
this
heard
is a
of
big
that.
thing for like a lot of other presidents. I think George Bush loves driving, but now he's never allowed to drive again. So he's built like a kind of a track around the grounds of his estate, so he can drive like a golf buggy or something.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's
Even the
so...
Queen drives.
And she doesn't need a license
She doesn't.
Hmm.
Huh.
because she doesn't have a surname. Anyway, should we get on with
She does, Celine.
Queen? Last name Queen.
So does that mean that she's technically like Kelly Kelly?
Well, no, Kelly's got a surname. It's Kelly.
Yeah, but if she's Queen Elizabeth and her surname's Queen, then that would make her Queen Elizabeth Queen. So wouldn't she just be called Queen Queen?
The first name
I
is
think her
Zed.
surname is two. The
Oh,
second.
right, yeah.
The first name is there.
It's kind of like The Rock.
Yeah.
It's one of those intergender names.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah, so this rapidly went away from wrestling, but there we go. So, yeah, quite a few things happened this week. We have the UK tournament. We spoke about the first night last week, just as it had finished. Obviously, the second night took place on Sunday, so we're going to have a quick look through that. Obviously, there was the sad news of Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
And also, Kurt Angle has been announced to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, so we'll be speaking about that one. So, which should we take first, guys?
Actually, first, there's some unfinished business from last week. And I don't know if we can play this over the air because Smoot doesn't seem to work for us anymore.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I've just linked you a clip of Undertaker last week. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're
Oh,
talking about.
Yeah,
The grunt.
Yeah.
it's the grunt.
Here.
I wouldn't call it a grunt.
Here, I'll play it real quick.
Rest in peace.
Here, I'll play it. Hold on.
We're so getting chucked off the air.
There's a much better video than the one you linked to, you know.
That's the official one.
Oh no, yeah, I know, but there's a much better one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, God. You really...
What is this one?
Uh,
For 10 minutes. The Undertaker grunts for 10 minutes. Why? Why is this a thing?
That's a pretty good impression. Yeah, it was a little bit strange. I think I mentioned it before, but have you ever seen the one with? It was on one of the Botchamanias where Triple H does his like that pose on the stage, where he like throws his arms back, and
Probably
he's
have
like
seen him.
he's got his mouth open and he's vibrating like he's really screaming, but because the cameraman's so close, you can just hear him and he's just going yeah. It just sounds really wrong. But,
okay, yeah. So Kurt Angle. Let's start with Kurt Angle because he's my guy. Even before Dave Meltzer was my boy, Kurt Angle was my boy. And now he's being honored, as well he should be. A two-time Hall of Famer now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Not many people can say that.
Not many. Just him, Sting, and Ric Flair.
Do we really count the other one, though?
I'm kind of
I do.
I'm completely confused here. What's happening?
What do you mean?
He's probably in other Halls of Fame as well. Probably in some amateur wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Wait,
Oh,
well,
right, because of the other places Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I forgot that thing even existed. How many people are in
DNA.
it? About 4.
DNA.
It's about that. I think the Dudleys went in, so that's an extra one.
That's 2.
That's two. As well as Sting and Kurt and
Gail Kim.
Gail Kim, yeah.
Gail Kim, that's right.
Jeff
The
Jarrett.
owl.
And Jeff Jarrett and Earl Hebner, apparently.
The owl.
The Owl.
Ow.
That's next year's.
Yeah, Sting, Angle, Jarrett, Hebner, and Gail Kim. And Team 3D. So there you go. 7 people.
No, they threw a few people in there I didn't know about. So yeah, Kurt Angle's back with WWE. And
And we didn't have to wait until like October or whatever for him to be announced with a video game. That's what I was thinking it was going to be. He was going to be the next Sting, Warrior, Goldberg.
True. I don't know if you noticed, but they did the video on Raw for it, but wasn't the same as the one that they did on SmackDown.
They made him look really goofy on SmackDown.
Yeah, because the thing that got me was on the Raw one, that did not look like a Hall of Fame induction like video. That looked like the return of Kurt Angle kind of thing, because it had moments where you had JR shouting he's back and
Yeah.
he's home and things like that, and Kurt Angle shouting I'm back. And it really sounded like they were announcing that he'd just come back to WWE. But the one on SmackDown, like you said, it had all the goofy moments in where it felt more like a Hall of Fame video. So I didn't know if I was supposed to read anything into that, but...
Maybe he is coming back.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It kind of made it feel like the Hall of Fame was an excuse to get him back into WWE on the first one. Like, the return was a bigger story.
Yeah. And also, did you see the ESPN interview the night after on Wednesday?
No. What happened?
Well, Coach just asked him a lot of things about his career and stuff, and also asked whether he will wrestle. And Kurt just said that he was focusing just on the Hall of Fame at the moment, and he didn't know if this was the end of his career. So...
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember some of the other things that he said, but it was only a quick snippet that I saw of it, but it was, you know, it was quite promising to see it. I was
Yeah, I'm
expecting,
hyped.
I was expecting him to do the Goldberg thing.
Yeah, you. I'm several tweets behind on Twitter right now, and I just got to yours that where you retweeted Coach asking him if he was going to ask the same questions they did for Goldberg.
He pretty much did, actually, because I thought, well, if it's going to result in pretty much the same thing, I was trying to see if, you know, might get a cheeky ask back or something, but never mind.
We get Angle Lesnar.
Yeah. Oh no! What have I done?
Yeah, you doomed him.
My nephew on Twitter has just responded to the show saying, "I can see a Kurt Angle versus Lesnar shooting star press special."
Oh my god! Right, if he's doing one more match, he can't be doing that shit.
No, I don't think anyone's expecting him to be doing any particular. He may do a moonsault.
That's what I was going to say. You know he's going to do a moonsault, especially if it's in a cage.
Even if he's told he's not doing a moonsault, I can still imagine that Kurt's thinking, they can't stop me now.
Did you see for a while in TNA he was trying to do a 450?
No.
Yeah, it didn't go so well for Sting. He got landed on his knees.
Not good.
Yeah, Kurt always pushing himself.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those, you're running out a list of people who've had, issues with WWE previously and managed to mend bridges. And although Kurt's was never as gritty as some of the previous people that have left WWE, it was one of them where you wondered whether, was it ever going to happen? And I think if it didn't happen this year or possibly next, then we were pretty much going to lose the opportunity to possibly see him back in the ring. I thought it was quite nice that he also got the crowd chanting "You Suck" to his music. Which, bearing in mind, you've got to remember this guy's not been in WWE for over 10 years. Yeah. So the sheer fact that even though people might expect it, to hear that again was quite a nice,
Christ,
quite a nice moment.
That 450 looked like shit. They just linked in the chat there.
He was like wobbling when he jumped.
I'm very glad Sting kicked out of that, because holy shit, that was awful. That could be the reason why Kurt Angle was in that wheelchair for a while. Like that's probably led to that.
Wheelchair in TNA.
Yeah,
I think he's been in a wheelchair everywhere he's gone, whether he's wanted to be or not. To be honest.
Oh, you mean like backstage? Yeah, he was being wheeled around. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All I remember is WWE, where he kept screaming, "Get me out of here, Luther!"
Get
me out of here, Luther! Pushing him around everywhere. I loved Kurt Angle when he was doing that.
That's really sad. There was like rumors that was actually the end of his career. Oh man, this guy. And then he came back and it was great.
I'm just happy for him because obviously there's an awful lot of things that have happened between he was last in WWE to now. And there was a lot of times even within TNA that there was a lot of concerns about how he was himself and medication and you just it was a bit worrying where you thought, is this going to go down the nasty road that we've seen before with other wrestlers?
And that's why they didn't ever take him back, because they were worried that it would go that way.
Yeah,
kind of why he left in the first place.
And I think
it took so long to come back.
Yeah, and I think the last few years as well, the fact that it has been quiet has been a good sign, if you know what I mean. Because normally when the last few years when you have heard something, it's normally been bad news. So yeah, I'm ecstatic for him. It'll be nice to see him on a WWE screen again. I don't know what it means for possibly an in-ring return. I would love to see him have a match. There is so many people on the roster that I would love to see him face.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how many people he could face. Like, you could probably stack him up for every pay-per-view for a good 18 months and he could wrestle someone different each month.
But they won't. They'll drag this out.
No.
They'll get a couple.
Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe could be a classic in a WWE ring.
That could be awesome.
If creative doesn't fuck it up.
With Nakamura too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the potential is ridiculous, but obviously, it all depends on his physical state, how WWE feel about that.
Yeah, keep him away from Seth Rollins.
Oh, God. Poor Seth. He's now sat at home listening to this, just like he's had to turn us off.
He's had to.
He's had to turn us off because of you, Chucks. He's not even hearing this right now. We can't even get him back now. We've lost him.
Yeah, Angle versus Styles, obviously, that's a big one.
I reckon that WWE will try and avoid putting him in matches that he's already had in TNA, just purely because they don't want to acknowledge that this might have already happened before.
Yeah, I think it's great that in the recap video, the Hall of Fame induction video, they talked about him really nicely. They talked about him like he was one of the all-time greats. And thinking about it, in the last 10 years, they haven't exactly blacklisted him or, talked about him like they haven't diminished his accomplishments or anything. He's always been the guy that John Cena debuted against. That's
Yeah.
like his big achievement.
Yeah.
But they've always said that he was an amazing performer. He always shows up on their 25 greatest wrestlers lists and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool that he's now being acknowledged again as one of the greats,
Definitely.
which he deserves.
He really does. And yeah, like you said, they never really diminished anything. And even I think in the interview with Jonathan Coachman, they used. I'm sure Coachman actually asked him about TNA and mentioned it in the interview. So, I mean, obviously it's not completely under WWE's curtain, with it being ESPN. So I suppose I can use that to get
Well, and TNA doesn't exist anymore, of course.
Oh yeah. How did it feel working for the Owl? I was there before the Owl was cool. So yeah, Kurt Angle going in the Hall of Fame. Do you think that we see him possibly in the Rumble or at this year's WrestleMania, or do you think that it'll be something that they leave until down the road?
I think it would be a little bit of a waste of a surprise in a way, because it's not really a surprise if Angle shows up in the Rumble.
Mm.
Like, it could happen, but I don't think I would call it a surprise, because now that we know that he's going into the Hall of Fame, he very well could be in the Rumble.
I don't know, because if you think of everyone else, the only person that's ever gone into the Hall of Fame and has not been retired is Ric Flair, and he wrestled the night afterwards and was then retired. So the fact that he's going in, if he's going to be an active competitor going into the Hall of Fame, that would be a first. So to me, the fact that... Sorry, everything's beeping here when I've turned everything off for sound, so I don't know why that's happening. I'm sorry if it's coming through. But if he does show up at the Rumble, that to me is still a mega surprise, even though he's going in the Hall of Fame. Just because, realistically, I'm thinking you wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame. In the Royal Rumble, even, can't even speak.
Right. Also, what if he gets hurt in the Rumble?
Well, that's one thing as well. But,
He's less likely to get hurt in the Rumble than he is in just about anything else.
That's still Braun Strowman picks him up and throws him into front row. I would love to see him in the Rumble, but also that creates a creative issue of what the hell is he going to do in the Rumble and how do you get him eliminated?
Presumably someone eliminates him and then he does something at WrestleMania. It depends if he's going to have a Mania match, I guess.
That's what I mean, yeah. I mean, if he is going to be in the Rumble, then surely he's going to have a Mania match. It doesn't... And like you said, whoever eliminates him probably will be the program for WrestleMania. But that seems to be...
Can they do that story with like 5 different
This
matches?
is it. Yeah, you're going into the Rumble and everyone's scenario is, well, whoever eliminates them, that's a WrestleMania opponent. It's just like... It's kind of a good thing because you've got a Rumble that's got quite a few big names in that they could go in different directions with. So it's kind of like the only feasible way you can think of things going. But also, it just doesn't seem right for, I don't know, everyone to get that kind of scenario coming out of the Rumble. So I don't know. Speaking of people, Hall of Famers, possibly wrestling a match, did anyone hear the comments that Shawn Michaels made about WrestleMania?
No, what was that?
I believe he did an interview. I'm not sure where he did it for exactly, but people were asking him about wrestling again, and obviously him saying that he's not coming out of retirement. But apparently there was some comment where if he was to come out of retirement for a match at WrestleMania, everyone assumed it would be against someone like Seth Rollins. And apparently he said that he would love to work a match with Samoa Joe.
Yeah!
I hear that, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, that would be great.
It should be a really interesting dynamic, I think, that.
And it's not Seth Rollins.
So there's a good chance that Shawn might get out of it without an injury, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's Tyson Kidd.
Oh!
Jesus. Harsh.
harsh, but no, I'm sure he'd be fine. Both guys are very, very good. And yeah, you're right. The dynamic of that. Joe could be a quality big man, monster type. Sean's great with the selling and the hope spots. That could be something.
Apologies, Ed. I've just noticed that Ed's in the chat and he's been asking us a few questions and I've missed it. I do apologise. He's asked, is this episode called The Roast of Seth Rollins? It is if you chucks.
I said it once.
Yeah, but you started it.
I started it. I lit the fire that we're now roasting him on, yeah. Ed also says he'd like to see a Rusev Angle do a WrestleMania spot, but not a match. I think the opposite. I'd like to see them do a match, but not a spot. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I'd like them to do a proper match, because if it's just a spot, Angle's going to beat him up, and that be it. It's a real heat killer, like they did. Who did all the legends beat up?
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho? No,
yeah,
no, not that one. I mean, when Austin and Sean and who was it?
Oh, it was the
was it the Wyatts or something?
The Waste
Oh, it was New Day.
No,
Yeah,
no, it was the League of Nations first.
The League of Nations.
Actually, way back with involved, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
it just sucks for the League of Nations, as if they weren't.
No. It was Wade Barrett that got it all because he was basically being fired within a week.
Yeah, maybe a bad example then. But when Hogan did it, didn't he? Hogan did it with Muhammad Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's happened other times. Anyway, the legend comes back, beats up a heel, and that heel's just got to deal with it. The Rock with Eric Rowan, no big loss there, I guess. I just think if it's a match, then Rusev has more of a chance to get over, to be seen as an equal, even if he does lose. At least he can get something from it. He had a moment with a big star.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they did something with Rusev at WrestleMania where he just starts yammering on about it's Americans' fault and yada yada yada, and then Kurt comes out, like you said, Angle Slam. People are happy.
America the Beautiful. Imagine that, JoJo singing away and then Rusev interrupts his tank.
Comes out in his tank.
Comes out in his tank. And
shut up!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm liking it more and more.
Then he gets someone. Who was the guy that sang the? Was it Nikolai Volkov who used to sing the Russian anthem?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could get him out to sing that. Well, he's Bulgarian, I guess. Do it for Lana. What the hell? And then Kurt Angle could come out and suplex everyone. Kurt Angle and Jack Swagger could come out and suplex everyone.
Oh no, there's a face-off that no one thought they'd see. That'd put butts in the seats. I'd see people tearing up the tickets, like. Ed's asked a question. Considering how many potential matchups there are at Mania, could you see WWE dropping the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? I don't think so.
No, there's so many guys. There's big matches. You're right. There's quite a lot of big matches. But then WrestleMania is going to be like 8 hours this year.
Yeah, and plus also, the three wrestlers that they don't manage to fit into one of those matches will have a battle royal.
The real question is, do you think John Cena will enter into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and then get a better match?
Oh.
Well, better yet, he exchanged the trophy for a shot at the WWE title. Because he's John Cena.
And the Royal Rumble and King of the Ring.
Because he's John Cena and he can do that, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he says that he's John Cena, he's got to have a microphone that he can then flip over his shoulder as he's walking away. Anyway, I'm going to try and avoid talking about John Cena. He was a bit of a douche this week.
I didn't see SmackDown,
I'm so talk about him. What did you think about him playing a douche on SmackDown?
I didn't see SmackDown this week, so I didn't get the opportunity to see that.
Oh, so you didn't see him playing the like the devil on everyone's shoulder.
I thought that was
Like,
pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
it weren't that bad. I'm ragging on Cena. It's a bit unfair, but
Fuck him.
I found it more annoying than anything.
Fuck him.
I
He's
just
being a
thought
dick.
I
It's
just thought it
like,
made
oh,
everyone
come
look a little bit stupid wbecause I was just waiting for everyone to turn around, just looking at him, going, seriously?
Yeah, it's like no one seemed to understand what he was doing. Like, surely someone would go, John, come on, stop. I can see what you're doing. It's not working. Just shut up. No.
I mean, 240-pound man, like, walking around on his tiptoes, like, no one's supposed to notice him.
Not going to let him get away with that.
Oh wow, this is a great point here. Hold on, let me put this up on the screen. Just to sidetrack real quick, going back to Kurt Angle for a moment.
I'm okay with it.
This is a bit of a flashback
Do it
here.
there.
It's the one where he bonks himself on the head with the chair.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh,
Yeah. He's hit himself with many chairs. He kept doing, you know, the one where he swings the chair and the guy ducks and hits the ropes
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
bounces back to it. He used to do that all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the one, like, Rock did it once, and then Kurt Angle made that, like, a staple of his repertoire. My nephew, Reese, has joined the chat. Hello, Reese. He said, is it a surprise that Kurt rumors seem to be revolved around only former TNA wrestlers? Are they missing a trick with Lesnar v Angle? I really don't want to see Lesnar v Angle. That's scary to me.
WWE would probably book Lesnar v Angle.
Yeah, because he isn't doing that.
As long as
Really?
Kurt Angle beats him within 30 seconds.
In other words,
I think
Goldberg.
they're going to be really careful with him.
I do. I'm a bit... Yeah. Sorry, go on, Will.
No, I still think they'll do it. They'll be careful, but I still think they won't be able to get away from that much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't see...
I'm not saying
I
it'll be
don't-
good. Don't get me wrong, I'm agreeing with you, but the way WWE think.
Well, no, I mean, in an ideal... if everything goes to plan and Kurt's healthy and there's no issues in the match, then yeah, it'll still be a great match. And, there's no doubt on that. But it's just the fact that I don't understand how they would get to that match either, because... Like, the Goldberg and Lesnar one, that had a little bit more understanding purely because of what had happened previously. Whereas Brock's really not got any reason to face Angle, and I can't see Angle just randomly coming out and challenging Lesnar.
And I don't think they want to beat Angle that easily. Like, they did it with Randy Orton. Orton can bounce back and do some other stuff. He's fine now. I don't know that they're going to want to do that with Angle so soon.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. I do
Well,
think that sorry, go on.
If the question is why do all the rumors seem to revolve around TNA wrestlers? Because they're good. It's only the good ones, AJ, Samoa Joe, that have made it into WWE. So it kind of makes sense that those are the best guys for Angle to work with. But outside of that, who do you want to see? Well, I mean, he's already worked with Cena and Orton. They've been around forever, and Lesnar. Maybe, well, I guess I said earlier Nakamura. That would be fun. Rollins, Ambrose. I really don't need to see him working with Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens could be something. There are options. There's a lot of options. How about American Alpha? He's got to do something with those guys.
Yeah, I can see him doing something with them. Maybe it'll feed into the Shelton Benjamin return at some point as well.
Could do. He's going to be ready in a month or two.
Yeah.
Lots of potential.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong.
No. So let's move on then. We also had the WWE UK Championship Tournament. That took place last Sunday, the second night. And yeah, Tyler Bate is the new WWE UK champion.
Ah, spoiler.
It's not a spoiler if it already aired.
You actually make me feel bad now.
No, it's fine. I know it.
Yeah, he defeated Pete Dunne in the final. And I've got to say, the second night was way better than the first.
Well, yeah, because
And
somebody
I thought
actually,
the first was very good as well.
because the second night actually had a clear-cut winner in the tournament. So I would imagine it's
Yeah,
better
but
than
I
the
just
first
mean
night.
match quality itself.
Ah,
The semi-finals and the finals got real pay-per-view match treatment. Really, there was. I'm not being funny, but they really smartly booked this tournament. They really put over people's finishes, and then when you got to the big matches at the end and people started kicking out and escaping from submissions and things, it had a lot more impact in those matches.
probably because Vince had nothing to do with it.
Well, yeah.
Well, there is that aspect of it. But yeah, I think the main guy that came out of the tournament though was Pete Dunne. He was booked to be incredibly strong. He was your classic villain, and he pretty much stood head and shoulders above the rest of the card. Really, I don't know what you've just sent me.
I've seen this before.
Is this something that's going to go up on the stream?
Yeah, it is. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That is probably one of the better. Yeah, I've got to give them that. That's
Dick shaming a 19-year-old.
yeah. Ed said, first experience with action from across the pond. My takeaway was the action seemed slower and more deliberate. Was I seeing it wrong, or was there something else to it? Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a slower pace to it in some degree, but it still felt like it was a WWE product.
Traditionally, yeah, we tend to work slower over here. A lot
That's
more
before
holds
the
and-
wrestling.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of holds and counter holds, and that's what people mean by the old world of sports style or whatever. But over the last 20, maybe 30 years, a lot of American influences affected that. So now there really isn't a lot of difference. I think British wrestlers these days try to add some of that stuff to make themselves stand out. Jack Gallagher is obviously one, and Zack Sabre, of course. But for the most part, there's not a lot of difference.
Yeah. Did you guys manage to catch up with the tournament? I don't know, because I know
No.
a few of you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you know.
So, yet again, it's me and Will pulling the weight. Yeah. I get
I
it.
watched SmackDown. Come on.
What you want, a medal? A frickin' medal?
Kurt's got one.
Ed, don't use the term European in the chat room, please. It offends me greatly. No, he's just put Tyler Bate as an English Enzo. No shame in his Unity game. How are you doing? And then said, sorry, European Enzo. Ugh.
He is English, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, it's the same thing where anyone that's from over this side gets called European rather than what they actually are.
No, I mean, I don't know why Ed corrected himself. I mean, he's European as well, but you were right the first time. He's English Enzo.
No, he's not English Enzo because he wins.
Fair enough. Didn't Enzo Oh man, I can't even remember. It's less than a week ago, and I can't remember what happened on Raw. I'm fairly sure Enzo beat Jinder Mahal.
He did, and that was one of my notes actually, because I like nearly dropped a drink on the floor when it happened actually. Yeah, Enzo Amore actually pinned someone, which I think is the first time I've ever seen him pin someone. And also, to boot, he didn't pin him correctly because Jinder's shoulder was up.
Oh god, they're not going to do that storyline here as well.
No,
are they?
seriously,
Probably.
it was appalling from both guys. He did the splash off the top, and he pinned him as he was nodding with the pin, like, really aggressively. Jinder, like, for some reason, started to roll to his side like he was already trying to get out of the ring for the end of the match, and his shoulder was clearly up when he hit the 3. So it was
business for
really...
himself.
Yeah, he just wanted to... I'm not losing to this guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so that did annoy me a little bit. The one thing I did want to point out from Raw, and I don't know what you guys thought, but the women, the Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Sasha Banks and Bayley promos. I don't know if you have any thought on it, but I actually thought that they came across quite well this week.
I don't know, Bailey's poems.
I think that went a little bit too far. See, the issue that I have with it is Bayley needs to kind of just work. It's that age-old thing of she's not that confident on the microphone at the moment, and you know that things aren't very smooth. So you know that the next few promos are not going to be 100% slick. But I'd rather they keep doing the promos so that she becomes better.
Also, the whole, hey, let's shame somebody for being a fan of something, it didn't really fly too well. Because, like, what was the point?
I didn't mind it just because it was Charlotte, and it's like she keeps bragging about being born into it.
Well,
so
yeah, but the whole thing was like, hey, you really like this thing, I'm going to try to shame you for it. Like, come on.
Right, is that to imply that Charlotte really doesn't like wrestling?
Exactly.
I know the idea is, like, she keeps hammering it as well. You're just like all of these fans. And Steph does it too. Bayley is just like, she's just one of you. And it's like, well, obviously that's to make us feel like she's our girl. But, like you say, it just makes it really weird when the boss of the company, the champion of the division, are implying that they don't like wrestling?
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think most people are interpreting it that way, though.
No, it's probably short-sighted than that or something.
But yeah, I think Bayley got a little bit more confident towards the end of the promo when she got to the poems. The trouble is that part of the promo was poor, as in poorly written, really.
Yeah.
I think the first bit she came across very nervous, and it's just the kind of things that you think it's not really something that you would say in her situation. It feels like she's struggling to do a script kind of thing. But then as she got towards the end, you thought she's picking it up a little bit, and it's a little bit. She seems a little bit more comfortable, and the crowd are obviously trying to support her, and you know she's getting the support from the crowd. They're not turning on her in any way, so I do think they just need to keep going with Bayley and just let her grow that confidence. But the one that really did surprise me was Nia Jax. I thought the promo she did backstage was really good.
I don't remember her saying anything.
She was just like laughing at Sasha, I believe.
Yeah, because she attacked Sasha while she was doing the warm-up in the ring and apparently evaluation on her knee.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, they attacked her.
Yeah,
She attacked her.
hold on.
She attacked her while she was wearing
Yeah,
her
it was-
wrestling gear.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering that. Is that like the only thing she has with her? She's heard that you should always bring your gear, so she just wears it the whole time.
God. And like the fact that she got into the ring with like nobody realizing it, even though they were all looking
She's
into the
stealthy.
ring. Yeah. What the fuck?
I actually I thought that was pretty well done. That bit.
It was different.
And I think that was the reason why I enjoyed it as well. It was just the sheer fact that it was just the
Different,
fact that
yeah.
it was something that wasn't the usual.
Yeah.
And the interview backstage, I don't know. It was just I was looking at the confidence levels, and I thought that Nia Jax came across believable in what she was saying, and she felt very comfortable in that setting, which is quite good because previously I had just never really bought her as a character as much.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that it's the same kind of thing, and she's starting to get a little bit more developed as she moves forward. But yeah, that were my notes from
Just
Raw.
going back to the UK tournament, sorry, one quickly.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it very briefly last week, but I thought Cole and McGuinness were really, really good.
Yeah.
Thought they made a great team. And Cole actually didn't annoy me.
Yeah, I've heard good things about them too. I've also heard that they use the term "this young man" too much, and Nigel said, "Great point, Michael," too much. But generally, they were really good.
Yeah, to be honest, they're not. I can imagine them saying it, but it didn't jump out at me that was all they were saying.
And now I've heard it. Whenever I watch it, I'm gonna notice it.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin it for you now.
Cole was calling moves and actually being a commentator.
He did that on that Japanese show, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was really weird that it's like he was a wrestling commentator. I don't know if it's because Vince wasn't there in his ear or something, but
yeah,
it's weird.
And it's like I was saying last week. I mean, I know that it was only just after the show, but when Cole summed up the end of the first night and went down to because he did the face-to-face between the people who was left in the tournament at the end. Cole actually did strangely look emotional to me when he was doing that final address.
Yeah,
and it was almost like you got this feeling that he thought, this is what it's about. It felt like this is what he'd forgotten what it was like when he first started, kind of thing. It was that kind of feeling from him.
Yeah.
And he did. There was no point in it where I was frustrated by him like I normally am. And I didn't feel like I was switching off either, like I would do if I was listening to some other shows. So yeah, full credit to them because they were a great team, and they definitely was one of the plus points of the show.
Maybe you were just happy not to be sat next to Byron Saxton for a few hours.
Oh God, can you imagine how they could have ruined that show if they just went up to that balcony, and in between Nigel McGuinness and Michael Cole, Saxton shows up.
God.
Hey guys! Oh.
They could do something like that. Hey guys, it turns out the place that you told me to go to, there was no wrestling there. I had to find my own way here, but luckily I made it in time.
Oh God!
There was a point actually on Raw. He called looking at him. It's just like, oh, you again. You're back, are you?
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people was pointing out things that Cole was saying wrong on Raw.
He's
Quite a lot.
knackered.
And exactly, I was sitting there and I was thinking, like, literally, about 20 hours ago, this guy was on the other side of the planet calling a live TV show.
I was surprised he was on Raw actually. I mean, I suppose it's not that much of a push, but still.
No, but I mean that's still a pretty hectic schedule for. Bearing in mind that he worked the night before that as well, and he would have been on, obviously our time, so he would have been way out because it's always ridiculous because he's losing hours coming this way. So he must have threw him out a pot even for the first night, really.
Yeah.
But it's commendable. But I'm not quite sure what it means moving forward. But for what it was, that 2-night tournament was a very good success in my eyes. And it's amazing that over the spell of 2 nights, I've watched effectively, 2 quick shows that were only, 2 hours each. And I know I can remember quite a lot of the wrestlers. do you know what I mean? Like people who you haven't seen before that you're not familiar with, and I can remember most of the names, and I can remember even most of the finishes, and I think that's commendable in itself that they booked everything so well that you can actually pick that up.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, good show. Let's hope that they find something good moving forward with them. And maybe Pete Dunne will be in the Rumble.
Well, that is the question now. What do they do with these guys?
Yeah.
Because I know they're not properly signed. They're not like WWE guys now. But how? I mean, you've got a champion of a thing that isn't really a thing yet.
Apparently, he's going to be defending it on a couple of, I think I've seen ICW shows.
Yeah. Well, there was talk a while ago, weren't there, about including more independent content on the network.
Yeah.
So if they're starting to put shows on and if they're able to defend their own title on that show with their own contracted talent, then that could be a way of just building interest and then looking at a weekly show further down the line.
There was a story this week, actually, I did read somewhere that apparently the independent content's being given the go-ahead. So we should see that soon.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they add like independent stuff to the WWE Network, or they plan to, at least in the future?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Apparently they've given it the green light to go ahead and add some UK shows. I think it's going to be UK shows first.
Okay.
So, it should be quite interesting. And then also we have the unfortunate news of Jimmy Snuka, who passed away. It's a bit of an awkward one, this really, because obviously there's an asterisk or a dark cloud over the legacy of Jimmy Snuka due to incidents, well, in the last few years really, but obviously stemming back to the original accusation from the 80s. Was you surprised by how much tribute WWE did on Raw?
Not really. They did what they could.
I don't know if there's a right way to deal with it.
Yeah.
If they said nothing, that probably would be too little. A little graphic at the start, maybe. But he's a big deal, and they wanted to put him over as a big deal. I don't know. There's always going to be someone complaining either way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, obviously they can't mention it. They're not gonna say anything about it. So it's always going to feel a bit, let's say awkward. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those. When you think of it, obviously from purely a wrestling standpoint, the guy was a pioneer, and it's a very sad thing, obviously. But obviously, when you factor in what accusations were, and obviously the events of the last few years of his life, it does start to make you think a little bit differently. But obviously, we'll never know. Jimmy Snuka was never fit enough to, stand trial for the accusations. So there's not really much more we can say on it, really. I did notice, though, that WWE didn't run the same tributes on SmackDown, which I don't know if that was their way of, obviously, we've done what we can, but we won't keep mentioning it, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. They've done that thing now. It's over with. We don't want to keep going over it.
Yeah. Reese in the chat also just said innocent until proven guilty will always play a part as well, which is true. Those were the main talking points this week. Is there other stuff? Did we catch SmackDown, anyone?
I did not, no. Will did.
The one thing that annoyed me, did anyone see the Dolph Ziggler segment?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember last week me having a little bit of a moan that Dolph Ziggler was on Talking Smack, and he was very conflicted in how he was talking. Now, basically, 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, he didn't say a word. He was given a promo time before his match, and he sat silent while one of the, I don't even know who it was questioning him, and he refused to answer, and he just walked out to the ring. He lost his match, and then he snapped. He used the chairs on Kalisto and on Apollo Crews, turned heel, stormed out. Then he went on Talking Smack and never shut up. This week on SmackDown, he comes out and he doesn't talk again, and it's like, this doesn't feel right. I like it because it's a different tone, and it didn't end up with him screaming in Lawler's face, but I just thought it was a little bit inconsistent with the Talking Smack segment the week before. That being said, I did like the direction they went in. What did you guys think of the interaction with Lawler?
Yeah, I thought it was. I like the way they brought up the match from God knows how long ago it was.
Was it 2012?
Yeah, well back.
Yeah, it was.
It was like September of 2012.
September 2012, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
It's one of those that seems a bit convenient. Like, Jerry Lawler, who last we heard was let go from the company, is suddenly doing an interview segment with Dolph Ziggler, and he just so happens to bring up that thing happened.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Why have you never talked about that before?
And the way that they also said that this was like the first time they'd been face to face. And I'm thinking, how many times have I seen Dolph Ziggler on one of those bloody pre-shows having a laugh with him?
Right.
And how many times is it even mentioned on, like, I remember on commentary, like when JBL used to joke going, oh, that's the heart-stopping elbow drops.
Yeah, he used to make jokes about it all the time, yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
Or how the crowd would be like, let's go Ziggler, and King would be like, you hear all these chants for Sheamus?
My question, though, is why did King take his t-shirt off?
Oh my god.
Yeah. I thought that.
Oh my
Do you know,
god.
when I was watching this segment, and as soon as he come on, I just thought, literally, there is a guy, an old guy in the ring wearing like a fancy dress King outfit with no shirt on in a ring. And you're just thinking, it looks like someone's stag do or something very inappropriate. It's not the kind of segment that you would use to introduce to a non-wrestling fan.
No. Yeah.
Although, on the flip side of it, even though, people can see it as a little bit controversial, but the super kick to the chest was a nice touch. And it solidifies Ziggler as a heel. So I'm interested to see what they do moving forward. I'm hoping to God it's not going to be Dolph Ziggler versus King somehow.
That's another one. I can't imagine that they'd want to do another King match. They've held off all this time because of his heart attack.
Yeah.
They don't use a lot of old guys anymore.
Supposedly,
very careful when they do.
Supposedly,
He's had a match since then, hasn't he?
He's wrestled a lot independently, but it's never been under the WWE's umbrella.
I'm sure he's done a WWE match since then.
Supposedly he has like a Legends deal, so
yeah,
who knows?
I'd be wrong.
I will do a quick search for you.
Maybe Lawler will be in the Rumble.
Sorry, go on.
Maybe Lawler will be in the Rumble.
Oh God. Moving on. Did anyone notice JBL tripped up trying to go to King's Aid?
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen this segment yet, guys, if you just look in the bottom corner when JBL rushes to the ring to support King after he gets the kick, he trips up. It looks quite embarrassing. But how much of a knob is David Otunga?
What, in general, though?
Well, in general, but how much of a knob was he in this segment? If you haven't seen it, once they've gone to break, Lawler gets up and he's screaming at Ziggler because obviously they want to make sure that people realise that he's okay. So you know, JBL's like making sure King's okay in the ring. They go to commercial break. They come back, and JBL's back at the announce table. And they're playing the real serious segment like they do whenever someone crosses the line. Even the heel commentators are being faces, you know. Like, they ask JBL, and he's like, you know, Ziggler's crossed the line. He's, you know, a Hall of Fame legend doing something like that. You know, he could kill a man kind of thing. And then David Otunga went, oh, you looked a little bit silly, though, there, trying to get in the ring, didn't you? And you're like, what a dick!
To be fair, though, there have been times where JBL takes shots at him and Jennifer Hudson, so...
Yeah, but even as annoying as JBL can be with that, in those instances, he is normally right. I know that David Otunga under the table was like, yes! Like, because he'd finally got one back at JBL, but didn't realise that he just made himself look like a complete tit to the rest of the world.
I didn't see that, but...
Yeah, just watch it back. It really annoys me. I just think it just completely killed the segment. I know what you were doing, and I can understand it, but it just wasn't the right place and time. If you'd have done it later in the show and just brought it up while there was another match on, people would have been fine with it. But when you're doing the real serious segment at the announce table, like they do after some wrestling tragedies just taken place in storyline, like where they're all really grim and really serious about what's just taken place, for him to just like drop a joke like that just didn't work at all. And even JBL's face when he does it just is like, really?
So is the match going to be Ziggler JBL?
I'm hoping not. It could be.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, Reese just said in the chat, atmosphere killer. It really was. In storyline terms, it just did. It killed it completely. So, yeah. It could involve a segment with JBL. It depends how they want to, like, draw it out. It annoys me because Dolph's going to be in the Rumble, and he's not going to, unless he wins it, which he won't, it's not going to be anything good for him. So I'd almost rather them just kept him in his usual limbo spot until after the Rumble. Because he could have snapped after he got eliminated from the Rumble, and then this would have made sense going into Mania with a little bit more purpose.
Oh, we should have snapped months ago, though.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, if you were going to hold off, you could have at least used the Rumble to kind of do something. I just think now he's going to go into this.
Then aren't you doing the same storyline again? Someone eliminates Ziggler, he gets pissed, beats them up, and then that's your WrestleMania match. We're going to just do
no,
this
it didn't need to be a WrestleMania match, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel like now he's got a little bit of momentum going with him. And he's just going to walk into the Rumble as if he's some badass, and then someone's just going to chuck him out when he's like, you know, Braun Strowman will grab him and just launch him.
Yeah, that's...
And then he's going to come out the following week on SmackDown and still act like a badass, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, pal. JBL tripped up in the Rumble and eliminated you.
That seems to be a thing for the Rumble for me. There's Taker and Goldberg and Lesnar, and then Strowman, maybe Corbin, and presumably other big names too, all of whom need to get a lot of eliminations in. They're all going to be looking for that kind of monster spot. And how can they all coexist? Maybe Goldberg and Lesnar take each other out, but you've still got a lot of guys who need to look really good. I'm not really sure how you can focus on that. And so many of them are part-timers too. So you're going to have guys like Ziggler who, sorry Dolph, it's just not your time. We'll maybe try again next month or after WrestleMania. And I don't know, I think damage could be done here.
It could be. To be honest, I think they're really going to push Strowman in this Rumble. I think they're just going to let him eliminate a lot of people, and that might even be some big names, just because if he eliminates a lot of people, then it kind of justifies his... I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think they'll brush over it, won't they? They won't make it... Rather than it being a negative on the person being eliminated, it'll be a positive on Strowman because he's been able to eliminate that person.
Strowman working Undertaker? WrestleMania?
I really hope not.
That was rumored a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was also rumored a long time that he's going to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Sure.
But yeah, apparently things have all been a bit mixed up, and Cena Taker isn't the thing anymore.
That seems strange to me.
Yeah, I think maybe things
Cena-
go back that way.
Cena wanted to wrestle him at 30. WrestleMania 30.
Well, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
Better than him losing to Lesnar.
He also wanted it at, I think, Madison Square Garden, too. But that was like years
20?
ago. No,
Cena wanted Undertaker at WrestleMania 20.
no, 30. He wanted it to be at.
Instead of Big Show.
He wanted Mania to be at Madison Square Garden. But
Yeah, I'm not sure that's happening again.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it is. Well, it was a great arena. Now it looks like all the others.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Rumble to go back to Madison Square Garden.
I'm waiting for it to come to London.
What, the Rumble?
Yeah. Well, anything, to be honest with you. I'll take anything. I'll take
Yeah, well, you had the
Backlash,
WWE UK
Extreme Rules,
Championship
like
Tournament
Roadblock.
take place, and you completely ignored that.
How about yeah, that's true. I did. How about another one of these road puns for a UK show? So we got Roadblock, we got Fast Lane. Maybe we could have like Roundabout.
I was thinking like, they always have they used to have the Insurrection pay-per-view, and I wonder whether they turn it into like Intersection.
Intersection. But we call it a junction though. We don't call it an intersection.
I know, but that would be
great,
that would totally be WWE's idea. Wouldn't it? Oh, we're gonna name something that's called completely different. WWE Sidewalk.
Yeah, not even pavement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Roundabout or Cul-de-sac or something.
Cul-de-sac. There's no way out.
Yeah, one way. WWE one way.
WWE in your house around the cul-de-sac.
Oh man, we got this is the WWE
Instead of no
UK.
way out, we can have no entry.
This is the UK like weekly show pay-per-view schedule for 12 months. We've easily just wrapped up in about 30 seconds. Bus lane.
Psychopath.
Oh, nice.
If only Psycho Sid was still around, he'd have Psychopath.
Oh god, he's gonna be on the front cover of WWE 2K20.
Shit. No buys.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Oh, well, that definitely needs to happen. I think that pretty much covers the main bits of the notes. The only other thing I had was from SmackDown was obviously just a return of Mickie James.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Oh, did it?
Could anyone tell that it was Mickie James before she unmasked?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Was it? Was she La Luchadora this entire time?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, that's good.
She was moving just like Mickie James, and I didn't realize that she moved in such a unique way before. But when she was, a La Luchadora and just moving around, you look just like Mickie James.
Yeah.
From 10 years ago.
Well, when she moved in to like do the kick on the head, it was just like you said, it was the movement of Mickie James to set herself up for the kick, and it was just like, yeah, that's Mickie James, definitely.
Well, and every time she did anything, she'd like throw her arms back and do it like a. It's weird. It's weird how it's.
Although it doesn't really make much sense storyline wise at this stage, so I'm quite interested to see what they say for explanation. But yeah.
And if they'll mention her one match in NXT.
How many matches does she have in TNA?
A lot.
Many.
More than one.
If they'll mention anything about a train.
Are you calling her a hoe?
No.
That's really rude, Beans. Can't believe you would say that.
Right. Look, I know that you
Same
like
as
any
Godfather
opportunity
shit for
that
me.
you can get to throw me under the train, but that one were pretty weak. I think that pretty much covers everything this week. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Is TNA still in business?
Is TNA still in business?
No.
Is Impact Wrestling still in business?
Is the owl still flying?
Yeah, it's still in business, I think.
You think? You haven't even done the research.
Oh wow! You've got one segment, Smooth. One segment.
Do you still watch it then?
I haven't watched it in a while. I know they're still on the air. I don't.
By a while, he means 3 years.
Since July, since mid-July, I haven't watched it.
Oh shit! It nearly is a year.
It's actually a long time. So, my question then is: you refused to watch NXT for ages because you said it wasn't important enough, and now I'm guessing TNA isn't important enough. So,
Neither's.
is NXT important enough?
No,
Or...
no,
no.
no.
Is New Japan important? Because they're trying to conquer the globe now, trying to break
Really?
America.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the idea.
Well, in that case, no.
Not New Japan either.
I just haven't had
So
time.
you're just a WWE guy now.
Do you watch
For the
205
moment.
Live?
The fuck no.
God.
You don't care about Noam Dar and the beautiful
Alicia Fox.
You said that like Homer does about a donut.
That's true. Oh.
Oh
She
god.
did. It's true.
It's almost as good as Smoot's Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Wow. Wow.
Which he will do for us.
Get to the chopper.
Oh, he's trying too hard. Yeah, what do we... Oh, do you know what? Whilst we're on it, fuck Alicia Fox.
What? Why?
Well, I mean,
What the hell is that about?
What is what about?
Oh, you don't watch 205 Live, do you?
No. We just went over this.
Yeah.
This is when she just kind of flipped out.
Well, she's done it twice now, but it's just
Yeah.
the most overdone pile of shite.
Are you talking about when she broke the sound barrier when she like screamed so loud or something?
She did that on one, and then this week she was just like, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that was on Raw.
Was it on Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she interviewed that new guy that didn't look like anything to
No, he
Tom
was in
Phillips.
the WWE UK tournament
Yeah.
announced.
And she was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
be fair, she did say that, and he kept asking her anyway.
Yeah.
Even so, fuck that.
Screams Cedric for
Just-
10. Why is there videos for like 10 minutes? What is this?
How have you not come across these before?
I
You're the
mean, I
meme
have.
guy.
I
You
know.
do internet stuff all the time.
Well, yeah, I understand the whole 10-minute meme, but why is there like a sudden rash of like, okay, this minor thing in WWE happened. Let's make a 10-minute video out of it, despite
Sudden rash.
YouTube uploading their limit to 15 minutes of video. So, I mean,
Well, actually, the guy, Mizomania, did the Undertaker grunt for 10 minutes. And then one of the comments is, yo, you got to do Alicia Fox when she said Cedric.
oh my
And
god.
he did it. He replied asking the show will see you. So there it is.
Oh my god.
Everyone should enjoy watching the video of Alicia.
Fox.
And then it zooms in on his mouth. It's like I'm falling into his mouth over and over. It's great.
Oh man.
So if you ask this guy to do something over and over for 10 minutes, he will do it for you. You've just got to think of something
I'm
good.
not quite sure you worded that very well.
He might do something for 10 minutes. Yeah, well, just whatever you want him to do for 10 minutes, I guess.
Bill. bit worried on that one, to be honest.
He'll do it repeatedly, over and over,
Oh,
as many times as he
God.
can for 10 minutes.
Great.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Pay good money for that.
Jeez.
Well, this show drastically took a bad turn down fast lane.
Fastlane.
So I think that pretty much covers everything this week. Is there anything else?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Probably it's a major news story breaking right now, and we don't know anything about it. But there we go. These
Check
side of
WrestleZone,
things
see what
don't
they've
lie.
see what they've got.
Next
I'd rather not do that one.
next week is the Rumble.
Next week is the Rumble,
Yeah.
and we will be going through our predictions. And I think we need to think up a few different alternatives to, even though not saying that we're trying to claw back the lead that Chucks has got in the prediction league, far from it from me to try and do such a thing. But I do think that we should create some possible Royal Rumble games between us so that we have some vested interest in the winners.
So TNA apparently is doing something called Race for the Case. Sounds like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Is it taking place at Fastlane?
No. Race for the Case, probably at the Race for the Case pay-per-view event, in the Race for the Case match. How WWE phrases everything. And the other thing is, I hear rumblings that they are going to change the IC and US belts.
Oh, that was one thing that I saw, yeah.
There's not really much we can talk about because we haven't seen any designs yet, but apparently it's not going to be the big logo.
Thank God.
I noticed quite a while back when Miz started putting them stickers on the Intercontinental title, how in bad shape it really is. All the leather had cracked everywhere on it, and it was all patchy. You're thinking that literally looks like the first Intercontinental title being dragged around every week for about
like the hardcore belt, it's all just taped together.
Yeah, it was really looking rough. So when Ambrose went up to Shane on SmackDown and said that he needed a replacement and actually pointed it out, I thought, at least he kind of mentioned it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I guess this must have been coming for a little while then, because they have two copies. One is the TV belt, which is like the prop that they use just for TV, which always looks great. And then they have the road belt that he'll carry around and do whatever with. So if even the TV belt now is getting a bit worn, then they must have known it's not worth replacing for, I don't know, quite a while.
I'd be interested to see what they do. I'm hoping it isn't too much out there, if you know what I mean, because everyone was really happy to see the original design come back. I just wish it wasn't on a white strap.
I quite like the white strap.
I hate it.
Well, it looked good when Cody Rhodes had it with his white gear.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I'll give you that. It did match. So yeah, we'll just have to see what they do. But yeah, next week we'll be going through the Rumble predictions. See what happens there. If you want to send us a question for the show, you can do so on Twitter. Use the hashtag IWC Radio. You can also follow the show at the IWC Radio. Keep checking out IWCRadio.com. The shows will be uploaded through there and should come through onto your iTunes, as we're now available on iTunes. So please do search for IWC Radio if you want to follow us through that. But yeah, we'll be back live next week giving you our Royal Rumble predictions. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you all next week.
Good night.